I lead my team, for those of you who aren't on my team. And then I will open it up just for if you guys have questions while I'm up here. I know there's going to be a Q&A after. I'm not sure if I'll be able to stay for that because I have to catch a flight home. But so when I started Unique, obviously, like you know my story, my past, I didn't have any leadership skills. So I started putting people in my team so quickly that I became a leader without even knowing I was going to be a leader. And as I've watched my team grow and I've seen, you know, hundreds of leaders grow from my organization that either I had a part in or I didn't have a part in, it kind of made me realize that if you become a presenter and you sign just one person, who does that person go to for help? You. So you have become a leader when you sign up your first presenter. You have the power and the power to go to your upline, but you have support above you that you go to. So you, as the sponsor, have to teach your team that you're signing to pretty much follow duplication, do what you do. So when you sign somebody, if you sign up for the business and you sign somebody up and you're not going to lead them, you need to let your sponsor know. Because if you sign up somebody and they want help and you're not willing to help them, or you're only doing this as a hobby, say you sign up a friend and they really wanted to do it, but you're really only in this business as a hobbyist, but they really want to do something with this business, let your sponsor know, because they'll reach out and they'll help those people. Just because you sign that person doesn't mean that you own that person. I used to go 4 levels up from me when I joined because I couldn't learn the same way that Whitney Husband was teaching me. I didn't sign underneath Whitney, but the girl that I signed with, I ended up passing her. She was a good friend of mine. I ended up passing her. So I needed more information. I was so hungry for information. I had to climb the ladder to get information. So know that when you sign up somebody, you become a leader when you have that first presenter on your team. But you're not the only wealth of knowledge that girl has to go to or that man has to go to. They have an entire upline that they have access to. You should be putting your people in your upline's groups. If you're not, you're only hurting yourself. And I say that if you're not putting your people in your uplines group, they should be in your black uplines group. And if you're still learning yourself and you're not 100% sure, make sure that you're putting them in your uplines group, that black uplines group. We're not here to take your teams. I have lost 2 huge leaders, which caused a huge mess within Unique back in May and June. I'm sure you all remember it. Mm-hmm. How many people really left? How many people were in those people's groups that actually left and went and did something? It didn't hurt my business at all. I was like, see you later, because I don't deal with the drama. So I'm not here to take your teams. Kara's not here to take your teams. You know, Tracy's not here to take your teams. None of the leaders that are here are anybody. People join this company because they love Unique. You just become their leader. They're not here. People are going to make their own decisions, and I can bet that there's going to be people in this room who leave the company within a year. That's okay. Your job as a leader is to work with the people who want this business and not drag people along. When you're building your business, you're going to start noticing, because you're going to go through your back office every single day and find the people who are working. Reach out to those people. Even if they're in your 4th level, you're going to reach out to those people, because if they are hungry and if you have a girl, for instance, you have a leader who, I'm going to use Tracy Green as an example. She is not my personally enrolled. She is sometimes my 3rd gen, sometimes she's my 4th, sometimes she's my 5th. Tracy was really hungry for information when she was growing. So she climbed up the ladder. One day she just messaged me and we started chatting. We built a relationship over it. So I've got to know some of her girls. So you always have to be willing to find where those numbers, if you have a sponsor it's hard to explain because there was a bunch of roll-ups in between, but because I had done a good job on reaching down deep into my team, they knew where to come. If 2, 3, and 4 aren't responsive, where's number 5 going to go for information? So if they're not in my group, or you're not putting them in your uplines group, and you're off on vacation, who are they going to go to for help? Your business may sit stagnant for a long time. So never be afraid to reach up. Tracy reached up to me every time she had a question. She's a very independent leader. A lot of people can take this and run with it. A lot of people want to be coached every step of the way. You know, you teach them to get to white, you teach them to get to yellow, to pink, to blue, and what it takes for each step to get there. So when Tracy was growing, I remember, I think it was you were going purple when you really started reaching out to me and you were having issues. And I was like, no, this is what you need to do. She knew that I'm very cut and dry. I'm just to the point. I don't have time for, you know, lollygagging around. You come to me with an issue, I'm going to help you solve it. I don't deal with drama. If somebody messages me and so-and-so said this or so-and-so said that, and I'm like, oh my God, just ignore it. Because the more that you bring light to situations like that, the more they're going to come to you with every problem. When you grow, even when you get to green status, you have a pretty significantly big team underneath you. Imagine if all of those people who were trying to become green underneath you were coming to you with every issue that their pink status or their yellow status presenter had. When we go to elite status training in Utah, that was huge. That was so enlightening for me to sit there and listen to Derek and Melanie say, do not take other people's issues on yourself. You are not corporate. You are not corporate. One book, and I was like, it was so big for me because, like I said, I grew so fast and I was thrown into a leadership position that I really had no clue what I was doing. I was just like, it's in the group, go find the answer. If I had to go find the answer, why can't you go find the answer? Why do I have to find the answer for you? I have all these other people to help take care of. Plus, I still have to build my top line. I want to teach you how to build your top line. I can't do it because I'm trying to solve this shipping problem over here, or this is out of stock and I don't know when it's coming in. How would I know when something's coming in stock? That's not your job as a leader to answer those questions. And you will feel bad until you get thicker skin. When you say, I don't know, you're going to have to message support. If we find out that it's coming in stock, we always post in our groups. That's the only information we have. Just like last night I posted like, oh, look, I can now order the organza concealer. Somebody asked me when the foundation was coming in. I have no idea. So I didn't even answer because it's not gonna build my business not knowing, because there's so much other stuff to sell. So when Derek and Melanie told the group that was there, I think there was 18 of us, Kenesha, you were there with her baby. I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a weight lifted off my shoulders. I don't have to pretend that I'm corporate. So this is another book. If you have not read this, you have got to buy it. Get on Amazon on lunch and buy it. How to Build Network Marketing Leaders, Volume 1 by Tom Big Al Schreiber. This is gold. Sherry Brown wants to marry this man. I read it before Sherry did, actually.
Leaders.
But it will change your mindset when you find people. How many people have signed people and they've disappeared? Mm-hmm. You as a leader, it is not your job to drag them along. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. If you want to continue to build your business, you have to focus on your top line. So when you have people that come to you and they say, well, my team's not growing. My team's not doing anything. What I'm going to do is I'll read it. I'm going to go to your back office because I'm going to see what you're doing. Mm-hmm. It's hard as a leader to be honest with people, but honesty is always going to be the best policy. If you can sit there and be honest with yourself and how to grow your team. If I say to somebody, okay, so what are you doing to build your business? Well, I haven't sponsored anybody because I'm trying to do this. Well, in order to grow your team and to maintain your title, you're going to have to start doing the same things that you did to get there. So it's hard, like I did. I felt like the biggest meanie when I would say to somebody, well, I'll tell you, do you want me to be honest? Like sometimes if I don't know the person and they come to me, I'm like, well, and I'll try to start a common conversation with them and try to feel them out, how sensitive they are, because you don't want to be really hard on somebody if they're super sensitive. because that can really push somebody away. There's tough love, and I would say grow thick skin. I tell Kara that all the time. Grow thick skin. She's got the biggest heart in the world. She'd feed everybody. She'd give everybody everything. And I always just say grow thick skin. It's hard to do, but when you're mindset focused, knowing your why, you're gonna find the people that want to work. I'm not gonna waste my time on somebody who just wants to be my friend. Mm-hmm. I'll be your friend, but my business is my focus. Because I know that I have thousands of other women who I need to help. I think I looked this morning, 47,014 people on my team. Wow. I didn't do that all by myself. So I'm going to do a little exercise now, and I'm going to include a few people who I have rolled up. But if you are, Kara, can you stand up? And Tracy, can you stand up? Just because Tracy's sponsor is not here, that's it. You don't have people here? No. Okay. If you are sponsored by Kara, stand up. If you're sponsored by a person standing, stand up. If you are sponsored by Tracy, stand up. If you are sponsored by a person standing, stand up. If you are sponsored by a person standing, stand up. If you are sponsored by a person standing, stand up. Okay. Anya, if you are sponsored by Anya Plumer, stand up. Nobody's here. Okay.
Oh.
You're my third, Jen. Yeah. So, okay. So I probably could get more people to stand, and I know that Kara has a team here. Yeah. This is the process of duplication. If I hadn't signed up the person that I signed up, Kara would not be in my organization. This is the process of duplication. Most time, you guys can sit now. Most times, you will not sign your rock star.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
I have 20 elites wide, I think, 20, sometimes 22. So my point to this is some of them are my second level, but they become my first generation. So you don't always find your rock star. You don't always find them. Some people get lucky and they do. I have a lot of awesome, amazing leaders that I personally have signed. But I did a great job reaching down into my team deep because I knew that to create stability, I need to build my team really wide. Building your team deep is stability, but you have to also be wide. If you don't build wide, so do you guys all understand how you get to green or you get to black, having your leaders? If to go to black, you need 4 greens. Derek always said, have a couple insurance people. And I was like, and I was sick the whole time I was in. I had 103 fever. I literally laid on the couch and just listened. And I just raised my hand. I go, so let me get this straight. I only have to sell $500 a month and get 4 leaders underneath me. And he's like, oh yeah, but don't forget to have a few extra. Because if those 1 or 2 don't maintain, but you have another 2 to back that up, you can maintain that status. So don't get to black and sit at 4. You want to keep building those leaders wide. Especially if you have that 3rd gen coming in. So, but to build your team really wide, you have to keep sponsoring yourself. So my golden rule is 80% on your personal business, 20% on your team. Set time aside each morning, each day, whatever time that if you don't do this full time, you set a couple hours a week aside to build your business, leadership-wise. Reach down into your team. See where those numbers are going. If you have a girl, okay, so Tracy's sponsor, those numbers were coming from somewhere, but they weren't coming on my 1st gen. They weren't coming on my 2nd gen, or my 2nd level. So where are these numbers coming from? Boom, 5th level, Tracy Green. Where do you think I'm going to go to work? Because eventually, 2, 3, and 4, they may go fall off. They may never do business again. So I want to make sure that I have a relationship with those people. So she's got this super strong team. She has a great team here. She flew in from Colorado. They're all from around here. She used to live here, right? Yeah. So you always have that network. So that's where people, I think sometimes, okay, well, I got to this position. I'm going to sit here for a while. If you get comfortable, you're not going to stay comfortable for long. I, even as a black level 1, am still signing people. I make it a goal to do 3 to 5 a month. Sometimes I don't have time to train people, and I'll be honest with them. People, especially when the hurricane came through in May and June, I didn't have time. I didn't sponsor anybody all summer long. Well, I did a few, but I knew that they were kidnappers. I didn't have time. I had to be honest with myself, and I was hard on myself, but I owned it because, and I would tell Bree and Nicole, and like, I haven't signed anybody, and I'm telling people they have to sign people. But I knew that I didn't have time because I had all these other people that I had to figure out where they go and who they are and what they're doing. So you have to be, as a leader, you have to be very honest with yourself, how much time you're putting in. Don't ask your team to do things that you haven't done or that you're not willing to do. There's things that I have never told my team that they have to do something that I haven't done. Even if I've only made a couple videos, that's not my thing. That's not how I work. I find them very intimidating. One of my things I need to get over. But I own that, and I'll tell people, like, no, I don't do videos because I don't like them. I will sit there and critique my video for 6 hours. Where's that getting me? I know I'm not good at them. I would rather personally message you. I do more one-on-one consultations or a phone conversation. If you want a 20-minute conversation or a phone call with me, text me, email me, private message me, and you'll get that. And it may be 2 or 3 days out. I can't always drop what I'm doing, but you always have to be available to the people reaching out to you for help. If you say, oh, I'm not your sponsor, that's not your job as a leader, because that person may be your big money. That person may make you a millionaire down the road. Never shut anybody out who's looking for information. I don't care how far down in their organization you are, because we all know that people leave this company or this business, this industry. They get bored. They chase the shiny squirrel. It's true. But so never take any drama either. If somebody comes to you again, just ignore it. Just tell them, ask them. Sometimes I will just turn around and say, how's your business going? Don't let it affect you. Give them 3. My favorite thing to do is to give them 3 things that'll help go build their business, and they will realize that you're not going to listen to what so-and-so did or what she did. I have a girl complaining to me right now because there's somebody who took somebody's credit card and used it, and I'm like, what am I going to do about it? Let the law take care of that. Unique can't even take care of it. It's been going on for like a month, and I'm like, why are you still messaging me about this? Like, I just stopped responding because I don't want her to think that I want to hear it, because I can't do anything about it. I mean, I am really sorry, and I told her that in the beginning, but I can't fix that issue. That's nothing that I can take care of. So don't take problems on yourself. Give them to corporate. Send them to customer service. They will, right now they're backed up, but they will respond. And if they don't, send them another ticket. If you don't get an answer within a week, 4 days to a week, at that point, message your Black Upline leader and ask them for help. If they can help you. We can't make magic. We can't move presenters. We can't do any of that. That still has to go through compliance. Anything like that, we can help you, but we can't solve problems. You do not pretend that you're customer service. It's taken me some time to really train people that they're not customer service, where problems have been driven out or dragged out, or made issues of that weren't even problems because they've tried to control it themselves. We employ corporate people for a reason. We are independent presenters running our own businesses. So don't get tied up in that. Groups. I find that it's best if you don't build a group until you're at least green, and then I usually only have my girls build groups at green for like recognition, for incentives, but for training, you guys are still learning. Don't waste your time copying and pasting from one group to another, because if you're putting your girls' groups in your Black Upline, I can guarantee everything that they need to know is in there already. Why would you waste your time copying and pasting the same thing that I just put in my group when you could be out meeting new people? That was what you guys can do what you want. That's what my sponsors taught me. Don't build your group until you're black. I didn't have time to have a big group until I was black, and I still didn't even want one then. I didn't want that responsibility because everything that she had was in there. But then I got to the point where I needed to have one, so I did make one at purple, and I started to use it a little bit, but I was still copying what she had. But then the questions come and stuff like that. But I made it admin only because sometimes there's just things that they need to go to their leader for that. Because you guys are all going to be learning at the same time when you sign presenters. They're going to come to you for questions. You point them to the answers. Let them find the answers. Tell them it's in the file. And then if you're really not sure where it is, go look yourself and see, and then you can tell them where it is. Teach them to fish. Don't fish for them. Because you want them to be independent people. You want them to be able to take off and be their own leader for their own teams. You don't want to take on them plus their entire team while you're still growing your top line. Until you get to that position where you're stable enough that you can maintain everybody, focus on your own business. Finding your leaders, like I said, you're going to look for the people who are really good at certain things. People who do a great job maintaining their team on their own. If you have a girl that's struggling, those are the people that you want to reach out to while you let your leaders who are good at other things lead their teams. You can check in with your leaders every now and then, but utilize the girls on your team who have their strong points. Give them credit for their strong points. I mean, like Kara, she's so independent, I don't have to check up on her a lot. She hosts these great events and stuff like this. In my area, I don't really have a big team because I hit Facebook with mine. I maybe have 10 people in Vermont, and they're just kidnappers. They're slowly building their business. But when I started this business, I have Ella Whitaker, who is great at event planning. She's great at organizing things. She's great at makeup tutorials. So why would I go and make a makeup video when I know that I'm not good at even applying my own makeup when I can point somebody to one of her videos? So utilize and acknowledge your leaders who have strengths. Or if you have somebody that you know because you're getting to know your team, you remind me of so-and-so, you remind me of this presenter, and introduce them so that they can bond and they can help each other. Just you can pick through your team and see who is good at what, and help them with their strengths, and help people who want to become that, point them in the direction of training, or like Anya said, follow the well-known authors and motivational speakers to help them with their own personal development. That's your job as a leader every single day, to look for those people in your organization. And like I said, I probably have to go through my back office. It's hard the way it's set up, but when you always keep a journal of who your rock stars are, your upcoming rock stars, and just have a plan. I think as a leader, it's really important to have a daily plan of what you're going to do. It's not going to be the same thing every single day or every single week, because everybody's constantly changing in your business. And when they become more independent, you give them that little bit of rope to go on their own. And sometimes you have to kind of tell them that you believe in people. Sometimes I'll reach out to somebody and say, oh my gosh, you're almost green. I know that you can do this. The power of me reaching out to somebody and just saying, I believe in you, I know that you can do this, is huge. And I'm like, why? But then I think back to nobody ever told me that. But I know that the people that I've said it to and how excited they get, it makes you want to reach out and find more people to help, because people are just waiting for that recognition. And I know Kara's going to talk about recognizing team later on, but that's huge when you reach out to those girls and they know that you actually care about them as a person versus just a business partner. If you make it just about business, sometimes that's not always the best thing, because they aren't going to be as invested. One of the other things I think is very important is, back to being honest, when I've told people, they've come to me and asked me, they're almost going to reach a promotion, and I'll look in their downline. I've had this happen more than once, probably 4 or 5 times. 2 of them really stuck out to me. They were going to go black. They were almost at black status. And this was kind of one of my first, if I don't tell her the truth, it's going to bite me in the butt. Because she's a very smart woman. She actually signed up, didn't even want to start a business, just wanted to sell makeup to her friends, just a few. I said, okay, Karen, whatever. What you want to do? She owned a mortgage business in Canada. She's actually, I think, one of the biggest teams in Canada now. She came to me and asked me if I thought it was worth pushing that second girl to green. And I said, well, do you have a third generation? And she said, no. And I said, okay, do you care more about the status or do you care more about your paycheck? And I said, for me, I care more about my paycheck. Status for me means nothing at all. Am I proud of where I've become? Absolutely. But I didn't get here by myself. My team got me here. So I asked her, how far away is she? And I looked, and she was like, $2,300. There was probably a week left in the month. However, I knew that this team was already stressed out. So I said, here are your options. You can either continue to push them and stress them out, or a couple of them might fall off and never even come back next month because they're going to feel like this particular green only wants the status. If you make it about something other than that, I think it'll happen halfway through the month of next month. And she goes, okay, that's exactly what I need to hear. I wanted you to be honest with me. So who wouldn't want a black underneath them? But I took it as,
handbag.
It's not going to get me anywhere if I just help you get to black status and stress out this green, because it's more important to me for you to have a strong paycheck than it is to have a status, or for me to say, oh, I have another black underneath me. Because you all sign up to change your life, right? Is a status going to really change your life, or is a strong paycheck going to change your life? Mm-hmm. Status means nothing in this world. There was a Cameron Diaz video out, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Loved it. She's like, I'm just me. This is just my job. When I go home, I'm nobody. So don't be afraid to be completely honest with your girls, because that was Karen. She did. She went black halfway through the month after that. But I really honestly do not think that green leg would have maintained. I think that 2 or 3 of the girls would have left. Because the reason that we have low PRS requirements for our statuses is so that we can reach to more people. Derek doesn't want to stress us out on having to sell $5,000 a month. Would you all be here if we had to sell a minimum of $5,000 a month? So why would you expect your teams to do that? And that's kind of something that you have to always think about. Yes, you always want to strive to sell. I mean, I'm still selling anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 a month, because that's what you have to do to grow your business. But my requirement is only $500. So you always want to be looking for those people who are constantly selling, having all this volume, because those are the people that you're going to have. You want them following up with their customers all the time, because a lot of those people will become presenters in your organization. Those are where you're going to reach out to. Don't compare yourself to other leaders. This one's huge for me, because I know that there's some things that corporate will come out with down the road that I know that I'm not good at, like running reports. Kara is huge into reports. Me? Nope, could care less. Because you know why? Because it's numbers and I'm dyslexic. And to look at it makes me crazy. Do I think that they're needed? Absolutely. I think that it's great for recognition. It's great for all these other things. If I was to sit here and compare myself to Sherry Brown, I wouldn't do a thing all day long, because her videos are amazing and mine stink. So if I was comparing myself to her, I wouldn't continue to grow. I'm not good at doing certain things. So if I was to compare myself to everybody who I think is awesome, I would just watch their videos all day and not do any work. I'm going to pick a few leaders that I know that I mesh well with and I can learn from. I'm going to follow those people and I'm going to work with them. One thing that makes me cringe is when there becomes drama within the company, somebody leaves or whatever, and they all know this before anybody does, because everybody's in 30 groups chatting about stuff they shouldn't be chatting about. And then that's where all the drama happens. And I'm like, where do you hear this stuff? Like, when I say only be in your black status upline group and be in this group and be in that group, like, I don't join the other ones. If people add me to them, I leave them, or I just sit there quietly. I don't even know half the groups I might be in, because I don't entertain that, because it's not income producing activities. So sometimes I'll go in my leader group and I'll do a smackdown. Like, if you're following, 30 people, is that good for your business? Because you don't know if those people are even honest. And I think that we had that as a huge wake-up call like 2 months ago. I don't even know when that one was. But it was, people were following people and believing everything that people were telling them. So your job as a leader is just to hold that credibility and being honest and upfront with them and telling them that everything's fine, everything's okay, because it is. But don't have all your girls join. When you have a new presenter, imagine what it's like starting it over, or if you're brand new, being thrown into 6 groups and there's like 10 postings going on a day. What would that do to you? I wouldn't do a thing, because I would be busy reading the groups all day long. So you want to make sure that you don't add your girls to so many groups that you're getting lost in what they should be doing on a daily basis. You want to have your Start Strong group, your Building to Green group, your Black group. Don't get them into, I don't even know if I add people to the Unique Presenters page anymore, the family presenters, because I'm always copying stuff that's important from corporate. So don't add your people to so many groups that they start getting lost in the non-income producing activities. You want them to be seeing daily tips and daily posts that they should be doing to build their business. And everything that helped me go black is in the files. So everything that, if you're not in my team, I can guarantee that everything that your black status did to go black is in there. So teach your girls to go in there and look for the files and do those steps. I know everybody tries to look, and I think this is where a lot of the extra group stuff starts to happen, and everybody's looking for the magic pill, for the magic, what did you do that I'm not doing? Sponsor, sell, and book parties. That's all we do, over and over and over. It's constant. It's even at my level, it's not stopping. Bree, Nicole, Sherry, Whitney, they're all still sponsoring people. That's what we do. That's what this business is. We look for more people. If you're constantly teaching your teams that, they're gonna continue to do it. That's where you're gonna find your duplication, where if I hadn't signed up the person who signed up Kara, I wouldn't have half this room. You guys are all in the organization because I signed up one person. So when you can teach somebody that, when they don't understand how it is you build such a huge team, sometimes the light bulbs go off. Like, you're right. If I don't quit and I just keep going, my business can grow. It can grow huge. It's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of work. But if you keep your leaders or you keep your upcoming teams growing like that, it will happen for you. Does anybody have any questions or want me to hit on anything that I haven't hit on? Jamie?
So say that your green is closed, but you don't want to stress them out. What do you say to them to not go for it, to kind of hit that boundary? Don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, I will ask them, does everybody have stock? Like, does everybody have at least 5 to 10 lashes on hand? Because I think that when you have a little bit of, like, if they're not a big cash and carry team, or they don't have the cash and carry, I tell them, because first of all, if you're, how many people are working? Mascara math, how many people on that leg are working? And I ask the girl who's asking, I don't go to her team and say it unless they ask me to. And I'll say, how many people are working on your team? Where do you need to be to get there? Divide it by X amount. If each person is willing to sell or buy this, 5 or 10 lashes, and if they can sell it, don't buy lashes and sit on them, because that's not smart. That's not business smart, because next month, you're going to all start out at zero again. So why would you want to have a ton of stock if you can't sell it? Why am I going to go buy a ton of stock or ask my team to go buy, $300 worth of lashes when they've already got 500 sitting there? Because they're going to get discouraged. So I would tell them, who's booking parties, and I would just reach down and, but because a lot of times it's people don't have the 5 or 10 lashes, and that can really add up if there's 8 people working. So if they're within $2,000 at like 2 weeks to the end of the month or a week, it can be done. But it usually comes down to who's partying, and sometimes it's a flash sale, things like that. Did that answer your question? Okay. Anything else?
I have a question. What was the name of that book you mentioned earlier?
Yep. It's How to Build Network Marketing Leaders by Tom Big L Schreiter. Schreiter. It will just change the way that you think. Like, it'll help you realize that as a leader, you can't solve problems. You can help your teams, but you can't solve the company's issues. Big Al.
Some of us from the South just wrote a capital thing.
Oh. Big Al. Does anybody else have questions?
I'm new and I just started in October. So when you're messaging your friends, like on Facebook, is there something that y'all keep like a spreadsheet or something and know, like say you're not, you have one that says no, I'm not interested or whatever, you know that you're not, because I have over 1,000 friends, so is there a certain way y'all keep up with it?
I'm Facebook messaging people. I mean, I don't know, Kara, do you keep a spreadsheet?
No, actually what I do is if you have a calendar, and I actually don't have it on me right now, but your calendar, right? So what I do is I keep tabs on the side of my calendar, and I keep tabs on the side of my calendar, like just little sticky note things, and on each tab I keep a name. And so each month, like I might have 20 or 30 names on that month, or however many people you're talking to. And I will reach out to each of those people. And to me, a no is never a no unless you're dead. So when someone, a lot of you guys haven't heard me talk yet. But so when someone, if I reach out to somebody and they say, no, I'm really not interested, this is something I'm never gonna do, I say, oh, okay, I'm just gonna move them to the next month. And because everyone's life changes every 3 months. So I will always keep their names in my calendar. And so I'll just keep moving them to the next month and to the next month. And I might, and I know your next question is going to be, well, what do you say to them every month? So what I would just say is, hey, just wanted to follow up with you. If they didn't get back to me or they said, no's not the right time, whatever, I'll reach out to them again and I'll say, hey, just wanted to follow up with you. This month we have a great kudos. Just wanted to see, what you're thinking or whatever, like just 1 or 2 sentences to touch base. If they say, no, I'm really not interested right now, I move them to the next month. And so the next month I'll follow up and say, hey, I just saw this really cute video, just thought I would send it to you to check out. Really cute tips and tricks on how to do a winged eyeliner, something like that, just so that it keeps you in the forefront of their mind for when they are ready. And it really can take people 6 months, a year, 2 years in order for it to happen. I mean, one of the blacks under me, it took months for me doing that consistently in order for her to finally say, hey, I'm ready,
And I think sometimes making it personal too, like if you say, hey, like I saw, your picture, your selfie, you look really gorgeous in it. Like sometimes just give them a personal compliment and not always be about business is helpful too. So if you're just starting out and they're really not sure what you do, I know that there's some scripts in my group that you can use just that give you an idea of what you can say to friends so you're not spamming. But a lot of times it's just complimenting, and like Kara said, just don't be afraid until they block you, keep messaging them.
Yep.
That used to be my goal. How many people can I get to unfriend me or unfollow me? Because it didn't matter. I used to say to people when I was growing, and I'm sure that people were like, what is she doing? She's posting pictures of her eyelashes. I didn't care. I knew where my why was. I didn't care. I knew where I wanted to go. I knew that my neighbors were not going to help me get there. They were not going to pay my bills. They weren't behind my closed doors. So I didn't care what they thought. So yeah, till they block you or unfriend you, keep going. I think that's a good rule of thumb. Question?
So
one of the things, you're from a place where your geographic location is
Small.
limits you.
I have more cows in my town than people.
Right. I'm originally from upstate New York, and I have a lot of people who feel isolated geographically on my team. And so I know that your why, you talked about your why, but what was the thing that took your mind beyond geography?
Facebook. My reach is so big on Facebook, and it's bigger now. Parties, Facebook parties, and then getting into groups and meeting people. Like groups that you're interested in. If you have kids or they have interests, horses, dogs, whatever your interests are, knitting, anything, get into those groups and meet people. You can go, if I built a Facebook page, you can go to like Tide, and you can follow Tide, and you can comment on their page as Unique by Katie. So when you see Unique by Katie, not Katie Thompson, well, what is Unique by Katie? So some woman who's laying in bed at night, reading the Tide page, or reading the Snuggle page, or the Huggies, whatever, whatever you're into, whatever page you're gonna go follow from your business page, you can go in and you can switch your Facebook over to act as your business page, because it has a business name on it, right? So people are gonna be like, who's that? They're gonna go and they're gonna follow. And then they're gonna click on your page and see what that is, and then it becomes, like you're on somebody's grandmother's page. We've all done that. So that's how you can get people to follow you. Go into groups, go onto pages, and start commenting, liking, and just do that for like 30 minutes a day. It's quick. Don't read the groups. Just find something that you want to post on or comment on, and move on to the next one. I used to lay in bed or sit on the couch at night and think to myself, I'm going to join 5 more groups and I'm going to comment on 2 of them, just 1 more. And then it was like 4 in the morning. So I just always had that mindset of doing 1 more, and it just kept blowing up.
I think mindset is also an important thing. One of the best tips that I ever got was once you start thinking of every single person that you meet as either a future presenter on your team, a purchaser, or a connection to one of those 2 things, you're going to see your business change, because every single person that you know, if someone tells you no, well, they have a huge network of people that you tap into. So you can't be afraid to ask for referrals or to think of them as a source to so many other people that could be rock stars on your team. So you have to kind of change your mindset and thinking about how you're approaching people and how you think of them.
Like, this is just one of the simple posts that I put on my business page, and I just put a picture of myself wearing a t-shirt or the mascara and caffeine shirt. I had several people asking me about how to join my Lash Boss team. I'm putting this out there for you. Yes, you, the person that has been watching my journey for months, the person that needs this business in their life. This is for you. What does this mean? It means that I want to work with you to help make you extra money for your family. Never in a million years would I thought that I would be doing something like this. But I'm here doing it, and I'm here to stay. Whenever you are ready to make a change in your life, I'm ready to help you, 100%. Change is never easy, but it makes you grow, and we are all meant to blossom. You are meant for so much more than a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. You have nothing to lose with a unique compensation plan. If you want it, go get it. Don't let anyone hold you back from your dreams. Let me help you earn every penny you're worth. I'm not selling anybody anything. I'm just sharing a little bit of myself and what this business can do for them. But you cannot make promises when you're recruiting like that online, because it's illegal. Not just in Unique's world, it's illegal. So just little posts like that, like make sure that you're posting on your Facebook page all the time, so that your friends are going to start seeing it. And then when you message them or they like your posts, you can message them and ask them, if they have any more questions or anything that they've commented on. Do you have questions? This would look great on you. Anything like that. I can have them pick a shade out. So try to make it personal to them versus like a mass message. Does anybody have any questions about the Facebook, like how you switch that over? If you go up to the right-hand side under your name, if you have a business page, it'll scroll down, it'll say act as like unique, whatever your unique page is. I don't know if you can do it from a phone. You might have to do it through Safari or on your computer. Business page. Yeah, because your reach is huge on it. It takes time to build your page. Don't think that your business page is going to it takes time, and you can schedule posts on your business page. So that's one thing I still teach my team to do, is build their pages, because I think because your reach is different than what your friends list is. I'm still a firm believer in business pages. A lot of my people, I just signed somebody up last night. I've been working with her for probably 2 weeks maybe, and she just signed up last night. Credit card went bad, she got charged twice. Go figure, I'm in a different state, and it was 11:30 at night. But, it's just, but I would have never met this person had I not had that page going and I wasn't consistently active on it. It did sit dormant for like 2 months because I was, this summer when everything was going on, but when I got back into building it, it's like that. So just teach your teams to be consistently doing something. Find what works for you and teach your teams what works for one may not work for another. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, and I know Kara's going to talk about recognizing, incentivizing your teams. One thing when I first joined Unique was seeing all of the gift giving. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't afford to buy somebody a purse. I just started this business and there was all these Coach purses being given away for, this girl doing this on that team and stuff. Or, Tiffany earrings or sunglasses and shoes. And I'm like, I'm a grown woman. If I want that stuff, I'll buy it myself.
Amen.
And it was very intimidating. So one thing, and here's one way that you need to think about this. Never make promises. You don't know why people join this business. People didn't know why I joined this business until I hit black. I never told anybody my story. Nobody knew about my daughter. She looks normal, so in pictures there was nothing wrong with that kid. So nobody knew my story, I think, until I stood up, did my first speech ever last January in Texas. And everybody was like, oh my gosh. But I considered myself a good leader at that point because I made everything about my leaders and my team. I didn't put it on myself. I didn't let anybody know what I was going through. I didn't have time. But so nobody knew what my financial situation was. For all they knew, I came into Unique, $100,000 in debt. I wasn't, but they don't know. So if I join this business to climb out of debt or to do this or to pay health bills, to help, your parents, you didn't join this business to compete with other leaders and have to buy purses or buy this or buy that. It's sometimes just a card being sent to a leader means more than something that you can send them. I remember at our first Black Status retreat, I was the one that sat there and said, because we were talking about recognition and stuff, and I said, I think it's very important to recognize your team. However, I found it as a new presenter coming in this business with a rapidly growing team, how was I going to buy all this stuff for these women who were growing my team when I need to pay my bills? Mm-hmm. So, and I still have trouble with it today. Like, I didn't send out Christmas gifts this year because I just didn't have time, and I feel like it's not duplicatable. Mm-hmm. As a leader, it's really hard to do things on instinct and emotion because you really want to think, is this duplicatable for years to come? Because if I'm doing this business to change my life and my kids' lives and leave a legacy for my kids. And yes, you want to recognize, and I want to recognize and spoil my teammates. But I also know that they know me enough to know that that's not my thing. That's not my strength. I hate shopping. Hate it. So the thought of having to shop for somebody that I don't really know what their style is. I know what type of a leader they are. I know that they're a rock star. Why would I want to buy you something and you not like it? And spend all those hours looking for that when I could be building my business or helping somebody build their business. So don't look at leaders and think, oh my gosh, I have to go compete with that one because she's buying her team this one and she's buying her team that one. I bought my Black Statuses that are going to California a gift because I didn't do Christmas. And you know what? I posted it because I didn't want some of the girls to feel bad that I didn't do it because I didn't do it because I did do gifts last year. And it was this huge, oh my God, what did I just do? Because next year, it's going to be a lot more. It's not duplicatable at all. Mm-hmm. If you want to buy something, you know what I mean? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, it's just don't, and it is. And like Nicole Smith goes, wait a minute, way to make me look bad, Katie. And I was like laughing. And I go, well, I haven't done anything for a while. Kara's been my top line. I think I officially adopted you, in June or July? She's just barely getting her Black gift. So don't take it on yourself and feel like you have to compete or you have to do this. You just reaching out and congratulating them sometimes means just as much as sending them a card. That's how I do it, just, and teach them, you don't have to do it like that. And just be honest, sometimes people don't need the money and they want to give everything away, and that's fine. But do what's right for you and what you can go to bed with at night and feel good about yourself. Don't worry about what this other person's going to think of you. I mean, there's times when I remember messaging Carol one night and saying, it was about, I was doing a shout out of $1,000 PRS. 2 hours later, 2 sheets full front and back. I hadn't even gotten a quarter of the way through my organization, and I was petrified that I was going to miss somebody. So I didn't even post it, and I messaged her. I go, "How do you guys do it? We need reports." But that's something that I did, and I sat there and I cried because I felt like a bad leader because I have all these other leaders on my team doing it. How come I can't do it? I physically cannot do it. So I can't take it upon myself and feel bad. I just I don't have those hours in my day or the ability to do that. So I can't compare myself and think, oh, I'm a crappy leader because I can't do this. If I was trying to keep up, or I had you guys trying to keep up with everything that everybody else did, I wouldn't get anything done. So just use your time very, very wisely, when you're trying to reach out to your team and teach them, what's going to work. Everybody finds their own way, and what works for one may not work for another. I think that's it for, what time is it? Is it noon?